Welcome to Media Makers Spotlight from Women in Film and Video in Washington, D.C. We bring you conversations with industry professionals for behind the screens, insight, and inspiration.
Welcome to Media Maker Spotlight. Today's episode is the host special. There's Tara.
Hello.
Me, Sandra.
And I'm Candice.
And we'll be chatting about, all together now, animation. Take it away, Candice.
Hi. So yeah, everyone, this is, as Sandra said, one of our routine host specials, and we kind of pick a theme. And one that I realized we hadn't done that I really love is animation. So I suggested, and the ladies were so nice to agree, because animated films and TV is one of my favorite subjects. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But what you might have noticed already, if you're watching us, is we're in a different space. We are not virtual for the first time in a very, very long time, because Tara, our digital nomad who bounces about the globe, is finally in the same space as us. And we are able to record in the same physical location.
I know.
And thank you to the wonderful Iron Butterfly Media ladies. We are recording in their lovely space where they also record some podcasts. So thank you very much to Iron Butterfly Media. So we're gonna chat in person this time. And I was kind of excited too, since we're not recording virtually and with backups and things like that with speakers. We're going without headphones. So
yeah,
this is our hair in our full glory.
I should have worn dangly earrings.
That's why I wore mine.
I know we put dangly earrings on. Yeah, just because we can. We're going to talk about animated films, animated TV a little bit. Obviously, our host specials, if you've heard them before, which hopefully you have, it's a lot of getting to know our personalities, what we like, our tastes, mixed in with some fun facts about the chosen genre. So maybe we could kick it off by first, is there a particular film or TV show, an animated one, that stands out to you as one that was like really meaningful or memorable to you?
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah.
Why was Beauty and the Beast one that stands out to you?
I mean, I'm a 90s kid, but I do think it also, I did just a little bit of research on this one. And it wasn't the reason that we have a now Best Animated Picture for the Oscars, but it was one of the reasons, I believe.
Okay.
Because even before it, with Pinocchio and Snow White and all the other ones, Beauty and the Beast, the early 1990s, I don't remember when it came out, but it was so well done that it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it won, rudely. But unless it's the year The Shawshank was nominated.
Wait, rudely, because you don't really like animated,
I
said
don't.
stuff. You don't like animated things.
But there's that great meme of like everyone thinks she had Stockholm Syndrome, and it's really because she loved the library. And I'm like, that's so true. But
so it came out in 91, by the way.
91.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah, rudely. So it was just really well made. I think adults liked it. I know my parents really liked it. That's a funny story I could share. When the live action came out, that one was just really well done. That it's just a timeless one. While the other ones always kind of felt not so, I just never really felt like.
You didn't personally connect to them.
I mean, as a kid, yes.
Yeah.
But when I'm now as an adult, I'd be like, nah.
Well, we all have our very specific tastes. Sandra, what about you?
I distinctly remember Aladdin with Robin Williams starring as the genie.
Yeah.
That to me, because somebody said, oh, we've got to go see Aladdin. I was like, that's a kid's film. Why are we going to go see that? And then all of a sudden, just Robin Williams was hilarious. And it's just, as soon as he came on and all the things that he was saying, it was just fantastic. And I loved it because he just made it so much fun.
Yeah. I heard there's like hours and hours and hours and hours that got cut because it was like all improv and just absolutely insane.
And apparently the Aladdin character, like he is modeled after Tom Cruise, and I'm like, I do not see it.
Really? Oh. Well, I remember specifically requesting Aladdin for Christmas one year. I was so excited for that one. But I grew up a lot in the 90s. I'm a little older than you, but I remember those, the white squishy boxes around the VHS tapes and like the whole Disney collection and all that. And so I remember having a lot of those. So I definitely the heyday of those, or at least that heyday of the Disney movies. But for me, I actually have used this as like an icebreaker fun fact before, But the first animated film that I actually remember having like a profound effect on me is the 1939 animated Gulliver's Travels. I apparently wore that out. I watched it so much and then I didn't really remember it. And then there was one time that it like, I'm going to date myself as well. You know, if you would be finished watching a movie or sometimes you'd stop and it'd be like static. Right. So I'm old enough for that. I remember one time I stopped a movie and that was on. It was like a throwback. And I had this overwhelming sense of nostalgia. And I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, I love this film. Like, this is so crazy. And I told that story at my birthday next. And because I think my parents remembered that I was like, oh my God, I love this so much, but I don't know why. And I didn't tell anybody really. That year for my birthday, my dad had found like the old version and I got like so choked up. I think I almost cried, which is, I'm not an easy crier, or I wasn't as much then. And I was just like, oh my God, so overwhelmed. And so in like media classes in college, when they're like, what's the first film that impacted you? I'm always like, the 1939 Gulliver's Travels.
Is that the one where it's like mice? No.
No. But there's a few, it's got like the little like Lilliputians are kind of fun. And there's just this scene where Gulliver,
this is why I like being virtual. You could go and Google it.
Exactly.
I can't do that
exactly. But he had like a terrible haircut. If you look back on it now, he had like a really weird bob. But I remember specifically just, his voice was really like this just comforting voice. And there's a scene where he like grabs all these ships by their anchors and like puts it over his shoulder.
Idea which one this
I don't
is.
know. It's just these initial formative memories of my life.
That's true. I mean, there's animated films that I don't really remember. So what's the one with the mice?
Well,
and
there's a
like,
lot with mice.
where they're like in a city, because also that.
Are you talking about
like Fievel?
Ratatouille?
No, not Ratatouille.
No, earlier. So
earlier,
like
probably the 70s,
like American Tail.
Are you talking about the Pied Piper?
Dude, I don't know. But so this is the problem. The other thing I also is Winnie the Pooh, because my dad traveled a lot, and so one of his gifts from any country he came from is, if he would bring me the VHS of the country that he came from of Winnie the Pooh.
Aw.
So I had it like in German or in French.
So cool.
I think I had it in Korean and stuff like that. So that was
How
really
is it that you
special.
don't like animation if you have all these lovely animation related
I don't
memories?
have it with me, do I? But
Yeah.
but that was one thing and then my mother studied in Paris, so we always had, and she wanted me to learn French. That didn't really work out. But so I had some animation in French. So I don't know which animation because I can't remember. I don't know it in English. I know it in French.
Well, what was the title in French? Do you remember?
No, dude.
You just know it had a bunch
I
of
just
mice.
know that these mice, she
What-
had like a really pretty hat, and they were like in a city, and I don't know, they're like flying at some point.
All right,
I
to
mean-
the audience, now everybody go to your computer, look this up, and then email
Yeah.
us at
Yeah.
podcast
At
at
whiff.
whiff.org
Yeah.
and tell Tara the name
Or
there's-
comment on the on
Then
this YouTube
the
video.
dinosaurs, the dinosaur one, and
Land
then
Before Time.
whatever. That one, that's screwed up, man. That should not be. For
Okay,
kids.
well, that is also one of the animated film traditions, is to have some horrible trauma, usually involving losing a parent
Well, that
or
all
something.
gets back to Bambi.
Well,
Yeah.
Bambi is.
There's
messed
that
up,
whole,
you know.
thing
Yeah.
about Disney films. Always, you have to have the mom or some parent die in some
Usually
horrific
the mom,
way.
I think, because Walt Disney's mom died.
Right. There's all these
Right,
theories
so-
like, well, why is it that every Disney film has to have
and then
some horrible tragedy?
What
But
was-
even
what
though
was
it
All
was Disney,
Dogs?
because what you were saying earlier, because of Disney is
Yeah.
why we have the best animation film category.
Yeah.
But
So
what
there
is All
something.
Dogs Go
All
to
dogs
Heaven?
go to heaven.
Are they now in the afterlife? I don't remember this.
I mean, I've seen
This
so
is
many
clearly
that
no wonder
you don't.
you were not a fan of animation. There was so
Yeah.
much trauma.
Well, which
That
is
and
trauma.
also just
From the
language
childhood.
barriers. I'm like,
Well, and Tara, you love horror so much with all this trauma and like things like Simba's dad getting trampled to death and everything. Why do you not like these films?
I hate The Lion King.
I love the Lion
Love The Lion
King.
King.
I think
Beautiful
it's-
soundtrack.
The
That movie,
soundtrack is wonderful.
is
That's Elton
screwed up.
John. I mean, how can you
That
say
is
no to
screwed
Elton
up.
John?
How
on
is
that
that
soundtrack?
for children? How is that? It is Hamlet, which, by the way, Willie there wrote it because his son died. So, okay.
Well, children get affected
Hold
by death
on.
too.
It is Hamlet with the Old Testament. So they're like, yeah, let's make it for children. I'm very passionate about this. Let's make it for children.
Tell us how you really feel.
Like tell it with a bunch of cute animals that are drawn very beautifully and traumatize them. Oh my God. We watched it and my dad's like, what the and we're crying our eyes out. Meanwhile, there's sex written on the sky because they're perverts.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, what? I didn't leave my dad's side for like weeks after. I was so convinced something bad was going to happen. But mark my words, if he had a daughter, that never would have happened. So it just, I hated that. I was like, how is that? And then as I get older and my friends and my cousins have kids and the kids are just loving Lion King, I'm like, and it didn't upset you? You're a demon.
Kids these days hear a lot, like they're way more steeped in just everywhere
I
drama
don't know
and
what
tragedy.
it is. Either I was a highly sensitive child or they don't comprehend it, or I just was better at understanding. I'm like, no, your uncle, your uncle has killed your father, is raping your mother, by the way. Get that
taking
to your head.
Taking a real dark turn here, Tara.
And is going to kill you because he wants you dead because he wants to be king. Do you not understand that?
So basically, The Lion King is what ruined animation for Tara. We've decided. Because you're just embracing the Tara. Just Hakuna Matata, right? Like it's just
it is a load of that everyone loves that movie, and I'm like, okay,
we're getting an explicit rating on the animation episode because of this. Yeah,
you know
funny.
what?
Yeah,
but
I know.
Am I not right?
No, everyone, that's the thing though. Everyone has really emotional connections to all these and you have these formative memories. I mean, I have some, like you were saying, where, you remember a movie, some of them are live action, like Batteries Not Included and Short Circuit kind of messed me up. I was like, oh no. And I mean, Atreyu's horse in the Swamp of Sadness from Neverending Story. There's things that are like universally for certain generations, like, oh no. But getting back to animation stuff.
Whatever, dude. That happened.
So there's ones obviously that give trauma. Do you have like
wait? So I'm sorry. Did the dogs in All Dogs Go to Heaven? Is it about dogs that are already dead?
I don't remember specifically. I think I've only seen that once, but I do know that recently there's been some like fun facts circulating, saying how like the little girl who played like the voice of the little girl, like she passed away in the making of the film. And so there's like this monologue of the dog saying goodbye to her.
Oh wait, but she's an actual girl in the film.
Right.
Oh, yes,
so there's
I've
like a
heard
human young
this.
girl playing the young human girl. But
Yeah.
then in the movie, it's the dog who's passing away and saying goodbye to her.
Yes,
but
I've
the
heard
actor
this. Yes.
recorded it after he had to like.
But for me,
say
it was a
goodbye to the
French
actual
girl.
Right. Which makes me think of the Aristocats and the
the Aristocats. That one was a great one.
See, there are good ones
that's
you like.
a good one, but I'm thinking of Despicable Me and then
More
those
modern
are
stuff.
Gru,
And then that
I'm
one-
watching Sing and Sing 2.
That
and
one
that's
is
it.
when they changed animation where they're. I think that okay.
It's ushering in a different era. So there's like that
different era.
Disney
There's
90s
Frozen,
and
and
stuff.
then there's Frozen 2, and then Mulan and Mulan 2. As soon as there's
Mulan's
like
great, but
Right.
it was also. I think there was a debate when is it Finding Nemo? No, I think it's Toy Story that kind of changed how these animated films were being made.
Well,
right, because
so
originally they had started out with the cells, and then Disney had all these people handcrafting all these cells, and then they got away from that, and then people were selling these so-called cells, and people were buying them in the original Cinderella and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Well, there's also so like
then they moved away to
originally there was the 2D animation, and that's still done today, but done
where they draw everything and
like a lot of hand drawing and like matte painted backgrounds and things like that, and you can see a lot of them got reused, so certain scenes have like similar shapes and patterns and stuff in them, and it's a really cool deep dive if you want to check that out on the internet. But as animation evolved, so like just to go back to that original thing though, the original first full feature length Disney animated film was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and that was in 1937. But then, decades later, we've got computers and all this stuff. So Pixar came onto the scene, And the first Pixar feature-length film was Toy Story in 1995. And so that kind of brought in more of the 3D animation. I mean, they had shorts and a lot of things before that as well. But yeah, so then that changed, and now so many of them are the 3D style. But I think it's kind of refreshing when you see the 2D style that still exists sometimes in films.
Because it sometimes doesn't feel... I was looking a little bit of research of like, what are some of the best animated films ever made? And they were saying...
just so subjective, but...
It is, but it was just like quick little research.
Spirited Away, Toy Story series, Finding Nemo,
That's a good one.
Bambi, Beauty and the
Bullshit.
Beast, which you mentioned at the very beginning is one of your
'Cause it's
favorites.
awesome.
Oh, this is the list of
Spider-Man.
best ones.
That one...
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
That one was interesting.
Love that movie.
And it's really, really well done. I've seen it 4 times.
Tara,
Wow.
you like animation, just not all
I
animation.
do not like animation.
But that's the thing. She doesn't like animation. How could you when you've seen that
If you've
4
seen
times?
Moulin Rouge and then you've seen West Side Story once and you've seen Moulin Rouge 20 times, do you say, oh, you like musicals?
Well, that's what I'm saying. All things are subject. You can't just say.
So I would say,
But you're
then in
hating on an entire
Spider-Verse-
genre for no
I'm not
reason.
hating entire genre. I'm saying Lion King is not appropriate for children and it's bullshit. And I'm saying Bambi is bullshit.
What about Shrek? Shrek is also, I love Shrek. I just thought it was great.
Shrek, I remember when we saw it, it was like when I was a tween, if you will. And it was the first time I understood an adult joke because he's like, he's my ass. And I'm like, I get it. And all the kids didn't get why we were laughing.
Well, also,
That's so
it's
grown-up.
sometimes
Felt
it's
grown-up.
also the people behind it. Like in that film, it was Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then you're listening. Oh,
Cameron
who's
Diaz.
that? Who's that person's voice? Like in Sing, it's the main character is
I think
Matthew
that's when
McConaughey
they really
is the
changed.
main
Yeah.
person's voice behind that, and you just go, oh, wait a minute, because you're thinking and you're listening to it, and you're trying to figure out that person's voice behind it.
Well, this is the other thing. In more recent years, or I can't think of really a great film that was in animation that had a great message for, particularly for children, that wasn't shoving it down your throat. Zootopia.
Have you seen like Inside Out and
Inside Out did a great job.
Well,
Two,
actually,
not so much.
Inside Out, according to the box office, Inside Out 2, released in 2024, as of February 2025,
Beat it.
$1.7 billion. It's considered the top grossing animated film, U.S. box office.
Is that above like Frozen and all of those?
Yes. So
Good.
Frozen
Wow.
2 is number 3. The Lion King. So it goes Inside Out 2, The Lion King, Frozen 2, Frozen,
More power
Incredibles
to you.
2,
I love the Incredibles movies. They're
I've
incredible.
seen it
Toy
once.
Story 3.
Don't remember it.
The Super Mario Brothers movie from 2023, $1.4 billion.
Wait, is
That
this-
one's surprising
Is
to me.
this
Yeah,
that it
the
did
first
so
or
well.
the second one you're talking about? Inside Out.
Inside Out 2.
That's surprising because that's not
Yeah.
very good.
And Finding
Well, it's all
Dory
subjective.
is up
I mean, like
No, I
that's the
think
thing.
people
Like
were just
it depends where
looking
you are in
forward
your
to it,
life
I think.
too. Like
But
they have
Inside
different
Out was
meanings
good,
for different.
But I think
people.
Zootopia did
Zootopia was good.
such a good job. I was like, this is so well done. Because they're like, you cannot possibly be friends with a fox. And I'm like, literally, that's how people would talk about other races. But kids don't know that, right?
Mhm.
And it's just, I was like, this is so clever. And that was a good one.
Have you seen Elemental? Because that has a similar message of different.
No.
See, I mean, well, and as
It's
probably
cute.
the one who likes the animated things the most out of the three of us, I've seen like so many of them. I love, films,
Mhm.
so I see a lot of them, but I'm always
Right.
a perpetual kid at heart. So I think they're not for kids only. There's always the layers of,
That's when it gets
kids are
good.
being brought to movies or shown movies by adults. There's usually they're created by adults. There's always layers. It's
Right,
it's
because
not
the parents
strictly
will
for kids.
also, if they can get the parent to go with the child instead of just dropping the child off. All right, you 3 kids
Well,
run
who
into
would
the movie
do
theater.
that
you
for a
can get-
6-year-old? Like, you have to be there with the kid.
Yeah.
That's why I think Beauty and the
Well,
Beast was
many
so
years
successful.
ago, that's what we would just
Oh,
be
excuse
dropped
me. I'm
off.
sorry.
And I would be, all right, you're with your
Yeah,
friends.
it depends how old
So-
you are too. I
Right,
mean,
nowadays
yeah.
you wouldn't do that. But Disney and Pixar and these other companies, they realized what they had to do was create the film so that it's the parent as well. So you have to throw in some kid stuff and then throw in some jokes for the parents.
Yeah, and I just like laughing at all of them, all of the jokes, because I get all of them. I mean, and when I was younger, I got a lot of the adult ones too, because I'm also the youngest, so I feel like
there's other things like Frozen everyone really liked, and I was like, that's fine, but I'm also an only child, and I think a lot of that, from what I've heard, is if you have a sibling, you'll get it more.
Well, another thing that made that great, and things like Brave as well, was they were some of the first ones to not have a sort of male-female romantic plot line.
That's very
in it.
true.
And so it was
which
really
I
important.
appreciated.
Yeah, it was really important to have like the love story in that was a sibling love story. And then there's like a mother-daughter love story in Brave. And it's not just like, oh, the end of the story is like a wedding or something when they're
and then
when
Frozen,
they're 19.
The songs were just so overdone
Well,
that by the time I read them,
right.
watched it, I
And
was
that's
like,
another thing that has
fast
really
forward.
changed. So not only has it, the animation that itself has changed, but
Music.
also the music. Who can be a top singer that we can get to be part of this? Who can, sing?
Hey, this is kind of a transition to some television too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cartoons, early cartoons, would be set to like classical music and have classical music scores and all that. And there's that whole evolution of animated television, which we could start to get into a little bit as well. But yeah, I mean,
Fantasia.
the music, right.
That one's a good
Fantasia's
one.
a big.
Scary though.
I think
Another
what you could
scary
say is
one.
overall you're not excited about something because it's animated, which is totally fine. I'm personally never excited about something simply because it's animated. If it looks good, it looks good. But you have a lot of animated films you like.
Well, I mean, I was a child at one point, and my parents were like, apparently you're supposed to watch this.
Well, and things are made for adults now too, like specifically where like they're not made for kids.
Oh, well, that's more of the television one.
Yeah, so
right?
that like Adult Swim on Cartoon Network and things like that. So which that started in 2001, Adult Swim. And I remember that because that's when I started going to college and we would watch Adult Swim at night and it was great. There was all these fun cartoons that were made just for
And what was in
adults.
Adult Swim versus like what's Archer on?
Archer's
BoJack.
after all of that. Adult Swim had things like Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I remember the Powerpuff Girls.
I do too.
Which is weird because I never actually watched that. Johnny Bravo.
I don't remember that guy.
Different things. But yeah, they were I always liked the little comment in the white text on the black screen. It was like this fun little felt like pre memes and things. Anyway, that was one fun thing about Adult Swim.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's television. We can totally get into television too.
I had a question.
Mhm.
Do you think that animation was the introduction to allow more diversity into our media sphere? For instance, Moana, or like you could change their body type. Was it The Incredibles where like the women's body type wasn't like one?
Elastigirl had
The
hips.
elastic, had lips, or something else.
I mean, it's an interesting
Or who killed
hypothesis.
Jessica Rabbit, and then it was
Yeah.
like, oh, she was very
That was a good
shapely,
one.
and then somebody else
Is that
said,
considered
all
animation?
right,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which
Mhm.
is actually a really great film. That's one that I got some sort of fun facts on as well because it was one of the first to like really get commended for doing animation and live action together. And it sort of had themes of other like things, real historical events going on. But
Right.
that movie was the first time, and I believe the only time still, that Disney and Warner Brothers characters were on screen together. They like allowed it for this film. It was this whole
Usually
big
they're
thing.
so restrictive.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Ah.
usually like they're different universes, like Marvel versus
never,
DC or whatever.
yeah.
So
Right.
Toontown involved all the tunes, and it brought it all in. I do remember that Christopher Lloyd, who played the bad guy in it, the one
That's
who would kill the cartoons with the dip, then like
Yeah,
so
that's
sad.
not.
I know, and Christopher Lloyd is such a beloved character from Taxi,
Yeah,
and,
he's
and
a-
all that Back to the Future stuff. So.
Yeah, but no, in this he was so creepy, and one thing that they helped make to help make him extra creepy is you'll never see him blink in the entire film. So like most of his scenes where he's like got his bug eyes, like But
But
he
wasn't the
doesn't
bug
blink in this.
eyes the animated part for him? Or
Well, they
no?
get animated at a certain point.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
got it.
Yeah, but to get back to what you were saying about expanding the universe as far
Yeah.
as what people see and they can see themselves on screen,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people said, yeah, that was great. And also the other thing is it broadened their appeal. More people started going to the theater, and they're going to go see an animated movie. And that made a big difference in bringing everybody in, because in the end, it's about love and family and doing the right thing. And those are universal values that they have.
Yeah, there's always such great messages in I'm a huge fan of Pixar, more so than others, but now there's Pixar, Disney, like combined, like Pixar animation type stuff that comes together. But I mean, you know, Luca, Coco, you know, all these things, they have all these deeper meanings and messages. Up is one other one where you didn't have a mother getting like shot like Bambi or something in the beginning.
She just dies.
But there's like the first few minutes of that film, notoriously people are like crying in the theater going, I did not sign up for this. Like it was just so
there's still backlash going on. For example, right now there's K-pop Demon Hunters too,
which was really good
on Netflix. And so there is some, it should have only been in Korean. You know, it's somewhat critical or somewhat, you know, there's controversy about how they depict Asian people.
Oh, really? I didn't hear any of this controversy. I just heard that it was hugely successful.
Nightline, I mean, it's so popular that even Juju Chang from Nightline interviewed one of the actresses. I think I want to say Mei Hung I'm not pronouncing her name correctly, I apologize, who's one of the singers. So she says, yeah, I'm from Queens, you know.
Right.
And she said instead of calling it a Korean animation, they're calling it a Korean American animated film, you know, because of that, you know, and of the people and the stars who were in it. But that's doing really well.
Yeah, it's going crazy. I mean, I don't know when this episode is going to air, but the 2025 Halloween season is going to be filled with K-pop Demon Hunter costumes.
Yes.
There's definitely, I mean, when I watched it, the Rumi character, whatever, I was like, oh, that's a good costume. As soon as I saw like her big purple braid and everything. But I also love Halloween costumes. But we are trying to not go crazy over on time.
Yeah,
so we're going to try to actually start wrapping things up. I will say shout out to Aardman Animations because that's claymation, which I guess you could say is animation. But I've been obsessed and love them since like some initial shorts and everything. Wallace and Gromit, all that stuff.
I love Wallace and
Creature
Gromit.
Comforts.
My grandparents are British, so then I would go over and visit and they would be, you know, like, oh, let's watch this. Oh, of course. Yeah, I love.
So great. I know, and I'm glad that they're still around and still making stuff. That's one of those dream jobs for me. I'm like, if I could work at Aardman Animations, just like I used to be like, if I could work at ILM. And then also just about the TV stuff, the longest running American TV show is The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And that's been around for so long. And I was asking you if you knew about, because you love horror so much, I
did not.
They've had 35 years running of the Treehouse of Terror or Treehouse of Horror. Whatever.
I'm sure I've seen a couple episodes, but I didn't realize it was like a thing.
Yeah, it's a Halloween special that they do every year.
That makes sense.
But they've been doing it the whole time. So I was like, surely that would have gotten you into it.
No, I never really. We only watched The Simpsons in school because it's such a clever show, apparently. I never got into it. But the writers are so clever. And like when we had to read The Odyssey or something like that, we'd read it and then they're like, and now watch the Simpson episode. And then everyone who did watch it, they're like, oh, now I get it. And they're like, yeah, that's why the Simpsons is so clever. It had a way of writing for, you know, the everyday person who might not understand it. But then if you did know the references, you also found it clever. Sort of the way that
and cartoons have
like
done that like a lot to sort of introduce bigger stories. I remember there was like a Rugrats episode about
that's a good
like Passover or something one time. And I was like, oh, cool. That's a cute way that they're like introducing the story. Rugrats also great. Muppet Babies. Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking of so many things from my childhood.
We didn't even do Space Jam.
Oh, Space Jam. That's right.
With Michael Jordan.
Right.
None of this,
which, you know, Who Framed Roger Rabbit paved the road.
That's when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, Michael.
The combining live action. But also, what you were saying, The Simpsons is known for like, there's something in history. You could always point back to the Simpsons episode that predicted it years prior.
Right.
Yeah. Was there anything in like your research, Sandra, that you thought was particularly interesting that you wanted to bring up?
One of the things I wanted to mention was anime. It's shortening of the English word, and it originated from Japan. And there's a local Japanese English channel that I watch sometimes, NHK, and they did a whole story about this young lady who started to get into anime and drawing and doing a story. And her parents were like, no, you need to have a proper job. You need to go be a lawyer or an accountant or something else. And finally, at age 25, she realized she wasn't happy. And they show her, she went back to school. She started doing a cartoon. She put it together. She went to China for a conference, submitted it, and she ended up winning for her anime series.
Wow.
And I just thought, this is, people love this type of.
Anime is huge. That's
it's
a whole.
huge.
It's a category that's like bigger than all the ones we even talked about.
It was so it was great, to learn. Somebody said, okay, I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna do this, and I just thought that's great.
Yeah, I mean, all these amazing animated things are put together by amazing artists. So that's a lot of and with all the streamers and everything, all the different ways you can create all this new content. There's things on the internet and everything. You can just even do your own show and stuff. So yeah, if you're an animator,
it's not just
you can do it.
Live action.
It's a great career and great profession. Yeah. And thank you to all of the people that have created all of these. I mean, obviously, in any single one of these specials we've done, and we talk about movies and TV shows and things in each genre that like mean something to us. I always that night will just keep going, oh, and I should have mentioned this. Oh, right, I forgot to say this. And oops about that. So we're missing a ton. But I think we touched on a good bit, and there's so much more. And I just think it's a really amazing category. And
we could do a part 2.
Yeah, I mean, because there's also there's animated films, there's animated TV, there's adult anime, another Rick and Morty. That's
I'm
only
curious
made for adults.
as why the animation was so popular for adults in television. Is it cheaper? But then when I interviewed Vincent Martella, episode is out.
It's true. Check out that episode.
He's
not the voice of Phineas from Phineas and Ferb.
Thank you. He's like, it's not always cheaper, but sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So I'm curious as to why. What is it? Adult Swim and all more and more, and then Netflix came about. So more streaming services did more adult content in animation.
I don't know. Hopefully, they're just realizing that animation is for all ages.
Could be.
Well, for any of our listeners or our audience members watching, you can write into podcast@wif.org and tell us your favorite animation film or favorite animation TV show. We would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next host special. Yeah. If you have a suggestion for what that theme should be, you can write us or comment as well about that.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Media Maker Spotlight from Women in Film and Video. To learn more about WIF, visit WIF as in Frank, V as in Victor.org. This podcast is produced by Sandra Abrams, Candice Bloch, Brandon Ferry, Tara Jabbari, and Jerry Reinhardt, and edited by Michelle Kim, with audio production and mix by Steve Lack Audio and Ed Saltzman. Subscribe to continue learning from more amazing media makers. Please visit MediaMakersSpotlight.com for more information.